Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutakabbala. Ameen ya rabbal alameen. So here we are with our session number 81, and we are no longer basic students. We are, I'm sorry, intermediate students now. So let's just switch it here. And let me just switch it for you. Intermediate Nahu and Sarf. So Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So I'm very, very happy for you all to achieve this great milestone. And inshallah, we are going to start with a quick recap from where we left in the last session, inshallah. So you all should know your attendance is always taken in every session. So try to please be on time so that you get credited for being present in the class, inshallah. So I will start with a quick recap. So I'm going to show you a few ayat from Quran, and I'm going to see if you are able to identify the type of negation happening in these ayat of Quran. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wala mubaddila li kalimatillahi. And there is um absolutely no, not a single type of change possible for the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this law which is negating this jumlatul ismiya is going to be called la nafiyatul lil jins. So what did we learn about its ism? What must be there in its ism? What are the qualities of its ism? So it is light. Can you? Yes, I understand. Forget about everything for now, okay? Let's just participate in the class and learn. And inshallah, I understand. Some of you have also contacted me. Don't worry about that part, okay? We will address that issue, okay? Inshallah. So let's just focus on the question in hand. So right now, so mubaddila. So it's going to this la will have an ism, which is always going to be common. It's written with a fatha, right? It's going to be written with a fatha. And what else do we see? It is going to be right next to la. Can there be a possibility of a distance? Can there be a long distance relationship between the la and its ism? Not at all possible, right? It is not at all possible. Otherwise, la is going to lose its function. If it is distanced from its ism, it's going to be lose its function. It's going to become la mubaddilun. It is, if it was la li kalimatillahi, then it is going to be mubaddilun. It cannot be spelled the same way. Always remember that, okay? So what are you going to expect to see? You will see that its ism is going to be the ism of la that has been used in Quran. Its ism is going to be common. It's going to be common. It's going to be written with a fatha, and it's going to always be written with a singular fatha. It's going to be written with a singular fatha, right? So for now, you can call it that it's going to be light, it's going to be common, it's going to be written with a single fatha, and it cannot be distanced from its system cannot be distanced from it, right? So you have to pay full attention to the haraka of on an ism after la, okay? And the fifth point that you have covered in the last session was that in Quran, will you ever find its khabar in any given example from Quran? Will you find its khabar in Quran? So as I have learned it from my teacher, I'm going to impart the same knowledge to you that its khabar is always going to be mahzuf in Quran. It's always omitted. It's always omitted. Or mahzuf means it's absent. Okay, it's going to be absent, and we assume it to be mawjudun. Okay, is this clear to each and every one of you? Are you all with me, or are we still thinking about something else? We are still in not in still in not in class. Okay, everyone is, yes. So we have some, all the features of ism of La Nafiyatul Lil Jins, written by Iram. She's writing that its ism is going to be common. Last letter is going to be fatha, and it's going to be singular. There cannot be a long distance relationship, and its khabar is always hidden. Very well done. Yeah, this is what we learned in the last session. Okay, this is what we have covered in the last session. So let me just tell you one thing. When you go to the grammar scholars, and if you show them this word la raiba, so in terms of flexibility, because we have covered this topic as well when we were the basic students, right? So in terms of flexibility, if somebody asks you about what is the flexibility of ism of la nafiyatul lil jins that has been used in Quran, you see this has been added. So I want you to focus on that as well, that it is considered to be non-flexible. It's always going to be considered non-flexible. Okay. But all I want you to do is just figure that out. Let's figure your la nafiyatul lil jins out. Okay. So now let me see here. Let me show you something. La zulma al yawma. La zulma al yawma. So now tell me, can this la be called la nafiyatul lil jins? Can I call this one? What does this ism coming right after la meet the criteria for its ism? Everyone, it meets. It is common. It is written with a singular fatha, light. So light, common, written with a fatha, and it is right next to it, no distance, right? And there is there any khabar here? No khabar. Okay, al yoma. What will you label al yoma as? What is al yoma called here? No, it's not mudaf ilayhi. It's not mudaf ilayhi for zulma. Al yawma is zarf, and it is zarf, and it is going to be your muta'alliq bil khabar. Muta'alliq bil khabar. Translate this for me. Zulm means um injustice. Just try to, for now, I will give you injustice for this. There is no wrongdoing. So no, this one is wrongdoing. So zulm in here is injustice, or according to the context, you can it is injustice, but you can use literal translation is wrongdoing. There is not a single type of injustice today. And what day is that when there is no room for any injustice? So which day is being talked about? So is this al yawma answering your when question? Is this answering your when question? Is it a zarf? Can I call it muta'alliq bil khabar? Can this be labeled as muta'alliq bil khabar? Any issues with calling it muta'alliq bil khabar? Easy. Next example. La ikraha fid deen. We have covered this. Again, this is the same thing. Ikraha is going to be ismula fid deen muta'alliq bil khabar. Right? Jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil khabar. Wala hujjata. Again, you are seeing an ism which is coming as common ism, is not written with with tanween. Is there any reason for it not to be written with tanween? Is it something that you have covered that is mamnu min as-sarf or partly flexible? No, not at all. Right? This is not taking a tanween because it is the ism of la. It is an ism of la, and it is considered non-flexible. It's going to be light, common, not distanced from it. No distance allowed here. And what else? Am I forgetting something? Everything is there. It fits the bill for ismula, right? So I'm going to call this ismula. Can I call this mubtada? Can I call this mubtada? How many of you think that it can be labeled as mubtada? No? Okay, so there is one yes. Nosheen is saying that it can be called mubtada. No, it cannot be called mubtada. Why so? Adama, you're so, you're not budging. You are saying that, and you are right. But what is the rationale for not calling it mubtada? Why we can only call it Ismula? Because it is not rough in status. Rabia is saying, and I hope I have pronounced her name right, because Mubtada is always rough in status. Sarah, very good job. Very good job, everyone. Remember that. And I'm not going to, just make sure we are not going to make this mistake, okay? Bainana, between us, wa bainakum, and between you. Baina, between it does it have to do something with a place? It's a zarf. Very good job. It is a zarf which has to do with place, like between us, right? It is a zarf of um, place, so it is zarf makan. So this zarf bainana is making an idafa with pronoun na. This is mudaf ilayhi. And what can I call it? It is going to be mutaliq bil khabar, as Nausheen has come up with the right answer. I'm going to give her full credit. Alhamdulillah. And then you can just say waw atf. Baina is going to be matuf, and kum is its mudaf ilayhi. Right? The first word, the first word is ma'tuf alayhi. The first word in murakkab atf is ma'tuf alayhi. The second word is just labeled as ma'tuf. Okay? Is this clear to all of you? Any confusion? Any raib? We can say that this is la raiba in the concept of um, in nafiyatul jins and its ism. Can we move forward? Absolutely no doubt. No, not a single type of doubt now. La raiba. Hmm? Okay, let me move to the next topic. And the topic that was there for today was um hmm, very good job. So the fail nakis. Fail nakis. Okay. So I want you to just go over one thing. Before I take you to fail nakis, I just want you to see one thing. Have you ever heard me saying word amila, ghair amila, or you have found these in my slides? Right? You have found these words in my slides or somewhere around. You may have unintentionally, I may have used sometimes this term. Do you know what are the root letters for amila or ghair amila? Can somebody tell me? It is ain, mim, lam, right? No, amal. It is not ilm, it is amal, right? It is amal. It has to do with amal, right? Ain, mim, lam. See the order, right? So, amila means amal. What is the meaning of amal? What does amal mean? Deed, action, work, right? So, one who works, can it he be called or she be called amila? One who does an action, can I call it amila? And one who does not do any work, just stays there, come there, but has a meaning, but does not do any work, does not bring any change, can I call it ghair amila? Not amila, not working? Everyone got it? So if you have this, let me show you this example. La fiha ghaulun. Is mubtada changed because of la? La fiha ghaulun? No? Is there any change to mubtada? I'm still calling it mubtada, right? So can this la nafiya, which is the one that negates, be called la nafiya ghair amila? Ghair, not working, not working, right? So it's not, did not bring any change. Lahum anha yunzafun, I labeled hum as mubtada, anha yunzafun was the khabar, and la, it is again going to be not making any change, so it is going to be called a ghair amila, right? You covered la nafiya, oh sorry, in nafiya in the last session. I told you that you will only find in nafiya which is muhmila, and let me show you the examples of that. See here, in hiya illa fitnatuka, is did it bring any change to whatever happened after it? In came in jumla ismiya, it it just negated it, and it is hiya is mubtada, fitnatuka, you all labeled it as khabar, right? In whom illa yazunnun in nafiya, and hum is mubtada, and yazunnun is the khabar. Okay, illa is just the harf which is used for exception. In haza illa malakun kareem, haza mubtada, malak is the khabar of this mubtada, right? So did I call this haza, hum, hiya as ismu in? Did I? Because there was no change. It did not bring any change. When it did not bring any change, what should I call it? غير عاملة, right? It can be غير عاملة. So when you see in Nafia in your Jumlatul, let me show you one example here. In negating Jumlatul Failya, because you have covered that in also negates Jumla Failya. So let me show you real quick here. In yakuluna illa kaziba. They only say lie. They say except lie. Okay. So this in, did it bring any change in the sentence after it? Did it bring any change? No change. So what should I call it in terms of amal? If I have to give it a name, can I call it ghair amila? Not working, not one who works, right? So this is all what amila and ghair amila is. Okay. Is this clear to all of you? And this whole slide is, full of information about what it is. And if I asked you now that is la nafiya to lil jins amila or ghair amila, what do you think? Now that you have learned la nafiya to lil jins, it is amila, right? It functions it because it brings a change. If something brings a change in status, it is amila. Okay. Anything that is going to change status of a word is going to be considered amila. I hope this I have made myself clear. Okay. Alhamdulillah, got it. Type 1, how many of you have understood it? And I'm now going to request Sister Faiza, are you here? Faiza Mudassir, okay. How about okay, let me see. Faiza Mudassir, no, I was looking for Mudassir. She's not. Oh, Faiza Mudassir is here. Okay, she's here. Faiza, take attendance, please, before I forget. Jazakallah khair, please. And send it to Faiza, the other Faiza. Okay. Jazakallah khair, and sorry for interrupting the flow of the class. Now, what have we learned about fail tam? If for a fail to be complete, tam means it has everything. Tam means complete. So, what does it have to have? ATP is a very correct answer. Action, it has to have action. It has to have time and it has to have pronoun. In Arabic, for a word to be called fail, it must have action, time, and pronoun. Is this clear? Yes. Yes, Iram. We are coming at that. Okay. Today we are going to cover that. So in very beginning of negation of Jumla Ismiya, how did I teach you that what are the three different types of kalimat that can negate Jumla Ismiya? That you can, or that what are the not Jumla Ismiya, what are the three types of adwat or tools that can be used to negate? For negation, what are three different types of tools that you can use? There are ism, fail, and harf. So today we are going to cover our middle column. We are going to cover our middle column, which was a column of fail, how it negates a jumla ismiya. Okay, how a fail being a fail, but it's very strange that it is going to negate jumla ismiya. Okay, so let's learn how. Everyone is, I hope, have their caffeine, whatever they needed to keep themselves awake, and I hope they are ready to listen to this information. So for fail tam, you must have action, tense, or time, and pronoun. Okay. So if I tell you a fail does not have an action, if an action is missing, there is no action. If this part is taken away, will it be complete or it will become incomplete? Hmm? It's going to be incomplete, right? So now one would imagine that how can a fail be still fail but is incomplete? So if I give you something like he is not, if I give you something like, think about it. So he is not. Laysa, that I'm going to try to cover with you today is translated as he is not. Do you have something that can change tense in here? Can is not become was not, will not, right? Your helping verb is, right? It can change tense, right? It can change tense. And in Arabic, laysa, which is translated as he is not, is going to have a pronoun as well. But does it have an action in here? Is there any action? So when action is missing, word is incomplete, right? It is now incomplete. And incomplete is, or defective is, naqis in Arabic. And in Urdu as well, sometimes you are going to find when there is um, nuksan. What is nuksan? It is loss of something, right? It is loss of something. It is something is missing, right? So when action is missing, your fail becomes naqis, right? Your fail becomes naqis when there is no action. Yeah, defect, or you can also call it defective. Yeah, that it's not the way it should be. But it's not defective, but in fail sense, how we have to have an action time. Now, our one component is missing, right? Your A is missing from ATP, right? Your A is missing from ATP, and now there is something that is not there, right? Everyone got it? Everyone with me? Okay, so Laysa, when you look at it, it has what is Laysa? It is a fail. And how is it conjugating? Laysa, Laysa, Laysu, Laysat, Laysata, Lasna. Lasta, Lastuma, Lastum, Lasti, Lastuma, Lastunna, Lastu, lasna. How is it conjugating? Is it conjugating like a present tense fail or a past tense fail? How is it behaving like? What is its ending looking like? It is behaving like fail madin. Where it is behaving like, huh? It is not behaving like a present tense. How it is conjugating. How you are making a gardan of this word is you are putting it into a table just like you put anything in table that is a past tense like nasara, nasaro, nasaru, leisa, leisa, leisu, isn't it? It has a meaning of a present tense, but it conjugates like past tense, right? Meaning is present tense, but conjugation works like past tense. Is this clear to all of you? Okay. If someone does not do an action, should it be called doer? If someone is lacking an action, if there is no action, can the pronoun otherwise, if this Laysa was instead of Laysa, you were seeing Nasara, what will you label Alif as? What will be the labeling of alif? You will call it doer or file, right? If it is passive, if it was nusi raw, you will call it naibul file. Now, when you have laysa, which is not, which is a fail without an action, it's any pronoun which is going to be sitting in laysa or either hidden or visible, that pronoun is going to be called ismu laysa. It is going to be called ismu laysa, right? Is this clear? A pronoun in laysa, which is fail nakis, it will be called ismu laysa. And why so? I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you, my dear students, because if there is no action, how can there be a doer? Doer is for an action. Fa'il, word fa'il is for a fail. That is tam, right? If there is no action, how can we call that pronoun a fa'il, right? So what will you call the pronoun in Laysa? Everyone type. you are all students and behave like one. So it's not just the job of sister Nosheen or Farida or Fariha and Iram to do all the typing and Shehnaz, but everyone must type. Okay, so everyone must be ready to type. Okay, so if you see this conjugation, if this table, so Laysa, in here you can call the ismu Laysa is damir mustatir. Huwa is ismu Laysa. In Laysa, alif is ismu Laysa. In Laysu, waw is ismu Laysa. In Laysat, hiya is ismu Laysa. In Laysata, again alif is ismu Laysa. Lasna, nun niswa is ismu Laysa. Ta, ti, tu is going to be ismu Laysa in second person. And in first person, lastu, again, ta is going to be labeled as ismu Laysa. Lasna, na is going in here. Na al mutakallimin, or the first person plural pronoun na is going to be called ismu Laysa. Is this clear? Yes, when there is no action, the pronoun can be not be labeled as file, right? Pronoun cannot be labeled as file, because there is, if there is no action, how can you call something that you know a doer of something when there is no action in the fail itself, right? You are going to call the pronoun of Laysa as ismu Laysa. So what have you learned with Laysa and with fail like Nasara and Nasarat? I'm going to repeat it. So the pronoun, so far we just covered that Laysa lacks an action. Laysa is a defective fail which lacks an action. So when it comes to Laysa, instead of ATP, you only have tense and pronoun. Okay. So this is going to be, and let me just get rid of this. There is only going to be tense and pronoun, but there is no action. No action, right? And since there is no action, so now a pronoun in Laysa, which is fail naqis, is going to be labeled as ismu Laysa. Is this clear? You can never use, a term like, this is a file, or that is not going to work for this, right? Is this clear to all of you? It is incomplete. Reason why is it incomplete? You already have covered that it has no action. I'm going to highlight it again because very important. It conjugates like any past tense fail. Is this clear? It conjugates like any past tense fail. Is this clear to all of you? You have seen it, right? Nasarat, just like Laysa, Laysa, Laysu, Laysat, Laysata, Lasna, right? It is Jamid because it has no present tense form or command form to it. Any fail that only has past tense form is called Jamid, okay? Jamid is a fail that does not have any present tense form to it or a past tense form to it. No mudare, no amr. If a fail only exists in past tense form, and there are many that you have seen in Quran, but you may have not heard about them, but in future you will learn all about them. Okay? Jamid is any fail. A fail is called Jamid. A fail is called Jamid when it only has past tense form and does not have a present tense form or a command form. That is the answer. That's it. We are covering Laysa. It's going to conjugate like past tense fail, just like Huwa Nasara and Hiya Nasarat. Its ism can be present as an outside ism. It can have an outside ism. Just like Nasara, Nasarat can have an outside doer, Laysa can have an outside ism. And we will show it in a minute. Its pronoun is called Ismu Laysa. Now, though we are learning a fail, so we are learning a fail, but you are never going to call this nasb ism after it as a detail of this fail. right? Because is it behaving like our normal fail, or it's something different? It is different, right? And I told you, Laysa negates Jumla Ismiya. Now you are going to treat all the sentences that are coming with Laysa like Jumla Ismiya. Okay, you are going to treat them as Jumla Ismiya. So if a pronoun of Laysa is going to be labeled as Ismu Laysa, the whatever is now left is after Ismu something, what comes? After ismu inna, there was a khabru inna. After ismu la nafiya, there will be khabru la nafiya, which is not present, but we expect to see a khabar. So in here, you are going to call masrufan, which is an example from Quran, what? Khabru laysa. It is going to be labeled as khabru laysa. And anhum, jar wal majroor, how will you label it? متعلق بالخبر متعلق بالخبر because laysa negates when laysa comes the sentence is going to be treated as jumla ismiya. Okay, huwa is going to be ismu laysa in here. Damir mustatir huwa is going to be ismu laysa in this example. Masrufan khabru laysa anhum jar wal majroor mutaalliq bil khabar. Then the next example, forget about fa, laysa minni. Minni are two words, min and ya, right? Right? There is an extra noon also sitting in there, noonul waqaya, but it is jar wal majroor, right? And laysa is there. So how will I treat it? Laysa is my fail naqis, right? Fail naqis. Ismu laysa is going to be my huwa. Huwa is going to be labeled as my ismu laysa, and minni becomes muta'alliq bil khabar. Is this clear to all of you? He is not from me. Falaysa minni, he is not from me, right? Laysa alayka hudahum. Laysa alayka hudahum. So now see, again laysa, which is fail nakis. Alayka is jar wal majroor. Never be labeled as muta'alliq bil fail in here because laysa is nakis. So you are going to call it muta'alliq bil khabar. And hudahum, can it be can it be ismu laysa? Can you treat it as ismu laysa huda? Can huda be ismu laysa? Why not? Why not? The, as I said, the same rules that apply to nasara nasarat are going to be applied in here as well. So ismu laysa was huwa. It got cancelled by huda. It got cancelled by huda, which is a rough ism coming after laysa, and it fits the bill. It has to follow the same requirements as a requirement for a file or a naibul file. So huda is going to be labeled as ismu laysa in here. Okay, is this clear now? That huda in here is going to be your ismu laysa. Their guidance is not your responsibility. Their guidance is not your responsibility. You are not responsible for, their guidance is not upon you. The next example, laysa. Again, laysa. Can you expect something after it? Can there be an outside ism for it? And you will find one. Ilmun. What will you label in ilmun? You are going to call it ilmun becomes ismu laysa. Lakum. Lakum is going to be muta'alliq bil khabar, and bihi is another jar wal majroor, right? And for now you can just label it. For now you can label it mbk. So next example, walaysa zakaru kal unsa, and a man is not like a female, or No man is like this female who you just gave birth to, isn't it? Or who I just gave birth to. Hmm? And this could be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling mother of Maryam that no man is like this girl, right? Because I don't know if it was clearly mentioned there, right? So laysa zakaru, as zakaru is going to be labeled as ismu laysa. How will you label kal unsa? It is going to be called muta'alliq. Kal unsa is MBK. Very good job. Jar wal majroor MBK. Is this clear to all of you so far? Okay, let's see if I have okay, so now let me show you a few more examples before I take you to copy. Let's see, do more examples because this is very important. Okay. ليست النصارى ليست النصارى على شيء. What is happening here? Lace, it was originally ليست. The Nasara are not upon anything. So it is here laysat. An-Nasara is going to be labeled as, it is going to be An-Nasara are going to be labeled as Ismu laysa ala shayin will become your jar wal majroor. Jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil khabar. The next example, laysat al-yahudu ala shayin. ليست اليهود على شيء. اليهود اسم ليس على شيء جار والمجرور متعلق بالخبر. I'm going to show you, the simple examples for now. ليس عليكم جناح. What is اسم ليس in here? جناح. If anyone asks you, why are you calling it اسم ليس? Why not call it file? No action is the answer. Because if the fail does not have an action, it cannot, it cannot, it cannot be, it cannot have a doer. When it does not have an action, it cannot have a doer. Okay. Laysu sawa'un min ahlil kitabi. No action, no doer is the right answer. So in here, laysu, what is going to be ismu laysa? Wow is the, to be precise, you have spent a lot of time learning these wows and alifs and tas and noons. So please, wow is going to be ismu laysa. Ismu laysa is wow. Laysu, in here, there is no possibility for an outside ism, right? Because it is laysu. After nasaru, can there be a file? Just like that. After laysu, you don't look for a doer or an ism. Your ism is right in the word itself. Fail nakis laysu has its ism inbuilt in it, which is wawil jama'a, right? Wawil jama'a. Waw is an ism of laysa. And now look for khabru laysa. What did I tell you about khabru laysa? It's always nasbin status. It's always nasbin status, and sawa'an is nasbin status. Min ahlil kitabi is going to be labeled as jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil khabar. Another example, laysa laka min al amri shay'un. Laysa laka min al amri shay'un. So in here, laysa laka min al amri shay'un. Laysa, you will look for its ism, right? Because it is huwa laysa, so there is a possibility that there is an outside ism. So in here, the outside ism is shay'un, laka, jar wal majroor, muta'alliq bil khabar, min al amri, jar wal majroor, muta'alliq bil, and this is how you are going to label this, okay? Laysatu tawbatu. ليست التوبة للذين يعملون السيئات. So here, laysat tawbatu, tu. So what is ismu laysa in here? What is ismu laysa here? At tawbatu. Can you call this outside door? Can you call a tawbatu outside door? Never. You can never call a tawbatu outside door because laysa does not have an action. Doer is for an action. When there is no action, there cannot be a doer, right? There cannot be a doer. But in here, it was hiya laysat. It was hiya laysat. So there is a possibility of an outside ism. And this is a tawbatu, which is rafin status coming after laysa and matching with laysa in gender. So we will label it as ismu laysa. Lillazina is going to be jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil khabar. I hope everyone is with me so far. Laysa, Laysa lahu waladun. He does not have a child. Laysa lahu waladun. Can waladun, can I call waladun as ismu laysa? And lahu jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil khabar. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Laysa laha min dunillahi waliyun wala shafi'un. Laysa laha min dunillahi waliyun wala shafi'un. So again, laysa, your fail naqis, laha jar wal majroor, muta'alliq bil khabar, min dunillahi jar wal majroor, and there is another idafa. Dunillahi is an idafa. Waliyun, waliyun is going to be labeled as ismu laysa. Wala, waw is going to be atf, la is going to be la nafiya, just call it la nafiya, and shafi'un. Shafi'un, how will you connect it to whatever has been mentioned before here? No, you will not call it another ismu laysa. You will never call it that. You will call it matuf. Just call it matuf. Anytime you have things connected like this, through atf, just call it matuf. It will be incorrect to call it another ismu laysa because this is what happens in some courses, and that's and I don't think that's correct way to define things. Waliyun is going to be labeled as ismu laysa, waw atf, la nafiya, and shafiyun you just are going to label it as matuf, and that is going to be understood that waliyun and shafiyun are going to go in the same bucket, okay, my dear. And it's just to make sure that you are learning everything in a correct manner. So what did we learn today? We have learned that laysa is a fail which is nakis, and what made it nakis, instead of having ATP, it has no action. So there is a pronoun and there is a time or tense, but there is no action. It is called jamid because it does not have any mudare form and no failul amr. It does not have fail mudare, it does not have failul amr. It conjugates like any past tense fail. Its huwa and hiya form can have ism marfu, a rough ism after, that will be labeled as ismu laysa. Its pronoun is called, again, if it is something that is laysa or laysu, lasna, its pronoun is going to be labeled as ismu laysa. Its khabar is going to be nasb, right, or fi mahalli nasbin. And then okay, so this is the same thing we have already covered. And okay, so when you think about laysa, it is going to remind you of is and are, was, were of English language, right? It reminds you of that if you understand that. So if I have to change huwa mu'minun, if I give you this example, huwa mu'minun, and I want you to change it to he is not a mu'min, how will you do that? Let's do a practice here. I want you to say, I want you to change huwa mu'minun to he is not a mu'min. I know I'm getting more time, but just this example and then we'll call it a day, inshallah. Okay, so I'm going to use Laysa. I'm going to bring Laysa. He is not, which is going to be doing the job of he is not. And what should I do to mu'min, nun, the word mu'minun? What should I do? Make it mansub? Okay, I will do that. Very good job. So I'm going to, he is not a believer. I'm just going to change the haraka from mu'minun to mu'minan. And Laysa already has huwa in it, has a hidden pronoun huwa in it. Laysa mu'minan. If you have to say he is not a mu'min, this is how you're going to do it. Laysa mu'minan. Is this clear? Because the khabar of Laysa is always nasb status. I hope this is clear to all of you. Inshallah, we are going to continue this topic in the next session, and I will tell you a few more points about Laysa. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Let me stop recording here.